Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAERAEs Review Live with my homegirl Erin, where we're going to be talking about what happened on the What's Going Down episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Everyone, welcome Erin to the stage. Yes.
Hello, aunts and uncles. Thank you again for having me.
Of course, just off the heels of Drag Race, All Stars. Don't forget to watch that, you guys. We had a great time.
That was a good one.
Okay, and now we about to get into it with the new version of Real Housewives. Now, this is the first, what they call them, girl? Help me out. The first, dagnabbit.
Episode? What? Premiere episode? What?
No, these are the originals. They were the first Housewives to premiere.
Oh, the OGs.
Yes. Well, I think of something else. It's on the tip of my tongue. And girl.
Okay. Well, relax.
Franchise.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is now you see season 19, y'all. They ain't stopped. They ain't stopped. Paused. They kept going even when they had a real problematic cast. Ooh.
What did we have on Drag Race just now? Did we just do season 16? Like season 17? What season did we do? What season did we just review?
17 of regular Drag Race.
Right. See, look at that. Orange County's older than even Drag Race.
Child. And they look it. Okay, but you know, they look good. But they look good.
Days is pulled real tight. Either that or it's a little curdly, but you know that's what happens to white women under the sun.
Okay. And we have a white woman speaking on this.
Right.
Yeah. I do.
Somebody
don't crack. So
right. Listen, no, there was this comedian, this white woman comedian. She said white woman age like bruised bananas. And I was like, truth.
Okay, so was that Sarah Silverman or Nikki Glazer? Who?
No, it wasn't. It was some other white lady comedian who just said was in her 50s, and it was a very funny joke about aging. But her opener was real good, bruised bananas, and I was like, "Ain't that the truth?"
Oh no, they're beautiful. Well, you know, they're beautiful women. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we're joking.
You know, and we got some thick, we got some skinny, we got some blonde, we got some brunette. We have a variety of beautiful women on this show. Some have gone on to greater pastures, not necessarily death, just But and we have one coming back. My favorite. I don't care what nobody say. She came in a little rough. But she held her own, and she'll be back as I think a friend, because I didn't see her.
She's a friend, yeah.
Yeah. So she'll be. Her name was Gretchen Rossi. She married Slade, and that was a whole controversy with itself. Was that season 10? It's been a minute because their daughter is 6.
Yeah, girl. Oh Lord, let's not play trivia. It's been a minute.
7. Anyway, that's when Vicky Man was all on there, girl. And woo, child. Now that was an explosive time. It was a time to be alive watching the Housewives show, boy. If you know, you know. Okay. Y'all remember that 80s party. If you know, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Gretchen does have some dirt with that one.
Girl.
If she wants to throw it on a grave. But I've heard she's scared of Tamara. The word, the rumor.
She better not be. Tamara trying to get her life together. Again.
Whatever. Trying to for TV. I mean, for a storyline.
Where are my notes? Here we go. Well, we're going to talk about her in a minute. So we pretty much usually go in order, chronological order, when of the scenes. Not too many little vignettes that we see, little mini vignettes that we see, but usually something that, lasts at least a minute or something. So the first one was Shannon and Katie. Shannon driving, y'all. Now we didn't see her blowing to the thing, but she driving.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It's been past a year. Maybe you only have to do that for the first year.
Oh, it's only a year. Oh, okay.
Well, I think you're like, I don't know. I don't. Thank you, Lord Jesus in the manger, heaven above and so below, any kind of God you want to talk about. I don't have that on my record. So I don't really know, but I mean, she might have been able to drive without restriction maybe after a year. I think she's on probation for 5, but I don't know.
Girl, she didn't hit somebody's house and everything, child. I'm surprised. See, Karen Huger, if you listen, watch and listen. If they let you watch, or let you listen, or if anybody know Karen Huger down there to wherever, down to the Clink Clink on the East Coast, you should have hooked up with Shannon Bedore. You probably could be filming season 10 right now.
Girl, not after 4. That's the problem with that one. Get out of here. Not after 4.
Yeah, but she ain't ever hit nothing. Shannon hit a house.
Yes, she did. She took out a tree.
Girl.
I'm just saying, it's not an equal. We don't have equal situation.
Well, all I'm saying is somebody's house insurance went up, and all Karen did was mess up her own stuff. But girl, somebody's house had to be fixed, and that ain't no small feat. Either way, she should have hooked up with Shannon Bedore, child. She probably could have got some less.
Oh, she could have done a lot of other things that she chose to do and gotten less. Okay, Karen made many choices that led her to where we're at. Okay.
True. Yeah, that video said a whole lot, didn't it? And that's another thing. That's another thing. Get with Shannon so the video wouldn't come out. Shannon
paid yeah.
For that video not to come out.
Yeah, she did. She did, huh? That's exactly what she did. I bet you that's in the loan agreement or in the lawsuit agreement. You will never release anything about me. Never.
Like show nobody. No part of the tape will be discussed, not even the first 5 seconds. And so that $60K will be remanded back or
plus interest.
You know what I'm saying? Just like
hell yeah! If I'm gonna cough that shiz up, if I'm gonna do that, if we're not gonna go to court, you are absolutely not going to disparage me anymore because he's done plenty in any way, shape, or form. I looked, just FYI, I went and looked at Alexis's Instagram. They're still not married.
Jesus jugs.
Yep. She's still with him, partying on another scary looking, Jesus jugs little boat together, but still hasn't put a ring on it.
I want to be clear on something. I have given certain women on these Housewives franchises the business when it comes to them in their romantic life. And I want to say for the record, I'm a girl's girl. However, when that girl is disparaging another girl, she gonna get the business. And I don't like it how Jesus jugs, that's why I'm disrespecting her at this point, came at Shannon. Shannon did nothing to that woman. Shannon was on this show trying to live her life, trying to get through it. And Jesus just did everything she could, but say, I'm speaking on behalf of, to disparage Shannon, to make Shannon feel uncomfortable. And that's why Shannon on this show. I'm glad that she is not on this show anymore, because it was awful to see. Not that they're sharing friends, or not even that she's on the show, but there is no reason why Jesus Judge had to come at Shannon like that for season 18. It just wasn't, in my opinion. And for that, her name was Jesus Judge until she is proven otherwise.
Yeah, I just don't like how they kicked her while she was down.
You know? Now, Tamara's one thing, but you coming in off the street.
I still wouldn't forgive Tamara for the shit she said to me either. I would be like, nope. In fact, yeah.
True. But they're trying to work it out, and I'm not saying one is better than the other regarding Tamara and Jesus Judge. They both did the same thing. But since Tamara's on the show, we're going to work through this and see what this heifer talking about. But yeah, she's on that thin line too. But
yeah, I could understand tolerating Tamara, because Tamara didn't steal her man, or I mean, neither did Alexis, but like Tamara's not dating her ex and throwing it in her face every chance she can get.
Hello.
Yeah,
speaking on his behalf and all that, and
yeah, that was ugh.
And that's one other thing. Stop doing your man's dirty work. Just speak on your behalf, and like, I don't have any problem with you. Well, you shouldn't be coming to her like that then.
Yep.
Heifer. I know I said this when I reviewed last year, but I'm saying it again because I'm talking about. But tick me off.
Well, I mean, they, like you said, they were kind of just rehashing the last season, this whole first episode.
Yes, they were.
So we're kind of doing the same thing.
Okay. So Shannon and Katie out, like I said, I guess, again, I guess we'll get a fuller scope, because I sure enough thought she still had to be puffing in that thing. But if not, good for her. She's moving on in her life. You know, she's doing the things, and that's great. Talked about paying that $60K to her ex. And then her and Katie is looking for a new Mercedes 7 Series. Mm-hmm. And Shannon's looking for some tires on her car or something like that or another. I'm like, okay.
Air in her tires.
Showing up and wanting some air in her tires, and service, it's all good. I don't have a Mercedes. I have a Lexus, but I don't have a Mercedes. That's that's real luxury right there, is Mercedes. Now, I never heard of just walking in and looking at that, but I love how Katie is just looking for the right color red. Like, okay, girl, I got, hey.
I thought it was gray.
Oh, gray. I thought you wanted red inside and gray outside. I don't know.
Oh, God, I hope. Oh, anyway, okay. Well, whatever. I didn't buy this bullshit scene anyway. I don't think I don't believe Katie was really looking to shop. You know what I mean? Like, Katie's, I don't know, the jury's out on her for me.
Yes, a lot of
smoke and mirrors. Shucking and jiving.
I want to believe her wholeheartedly, but it's just so much. It's too many alternate routes saying the same thing that leads to her.
She's in the media. I mean, I even have I have a background in journalism. I used to work in publishing right when I got out of college. Like, she's clearly, she's not stupid. She knows how to work with the media. She's claiming that she's friends with these people, all of that, whatever. Like, I don't like the innocent bit. That's the part that I'm having a hard time with. It's like, you are savvy enough that you know that you're interacting with if you're interacting with people on the commentary side, you know what you're doing. So that part I don't like. Not to jump the gun, but like, well, no, this is appropriate because Shannon and Katie talked about this.
Yeah.
I do stand by and agree with Katie. The gloves came off at the reunion, Emily, when you dug up my child custody agreement.
That's right.
And you insinuated that I gave up my children or I did something nasty when I went through clearly a traumatic experience with my ex-husband you know nothing about. And instead of giving me an ounce of compassion, you literally used your legal expertise to make it look and insinuate heavily that
Right.
you are expert enough to be able to speak on the details. And the way that Emily did it, going, a court, the judge isn't going to just take your kids away. I wanted to, that's why I'm like, Emily, you did bring this attack on yourself. You did.
True. And we're talking about different states. Different states
Yeah.
have different rules.
Yeah, and not only that, but like I can
to match with anyone in Georgia. There's clearly different circumstances and criteria for this particular issue.
Well, let's line the women up that have stories of how a narcissist was able to take their kids away because they had the control of the finances and they were more stable. And when a judge looked at where the situation would be the most whatever for the kids, they chose the abuser. How many single mothers can give you a story about how they weren't given enough support? The court failed them time and time again, and their children. Get out of here. You're working supposedly on the Justice Project in Southern California for people unjustly accused of crimes. You know how much the justice system can fail. So I thought that was, and I really am disgusted with her, honestly, the way that she likes to pull, well, I'm a lawyer. Like, are you even currently licensed, Emily? I doubt it. Are you actively practicing? No, you're on a show. So I like Emily, but this is where I have a huge gripe with her. You went after Katie at the reunion in a foul way. So the dirty thing, you're no angel. This is a hand-to-hand combat now, which obviously doesn't work if you're trying to be friends in a friend group. I'll give you that. But like, you don't have a higher leg to stand on. You attacked Katie too.
Hello.
And her children in a very personal way.
So now Emily doesn't like the fact that it's being done to her. Well, you know, I was thinking the same thing. And like you said, Katie was correct in that respect. You can't say something about my kids and not want me or anyone else to say something about yours. But then Emily films about her children. Not to say that we shouldn't have commentary, and I'm gonna say this right here. I want us to really spin as I really don't like talking about children, and on that piece that's coming down the pipe in this episode, it's just really real quick hit and miss, and because it's so delicate that I said, "Oh, they talk about kids." Dang,
well, I can respect
so
that.
Sensitive.
Yes, and I can respect that Emily feels extra raw about anything to do with her children because of what she's dealing with. So her perspective about it is like extra emotionally amplified.
Right.
Right. And like, cause like, remember when she was even in the car with Gina and it was like, you know, I shouldn't be doing this because she had just had like a doctor's appointment, I think, with her child. So she was already kind of on edge when it comes to this stuff. When I look at the entire situation, I think that it was poor taste for Katie's daughter to share what this little kid said to her as a babysitter. That to me was, I was all, whoa, y'all making this weird, you know. So you basically got your daughter involved, you know, right off the bat. Her daughter then went on to a podcast to defend herself because Emily called her a liar. And so, you know, I can also understand if that's something that legitimately happened, you're going to defend yourself. And then on top of it, if this woman were to then come and try to air me out as a bad mother that gave up my children during a really, really hard divorce, if the nanny came to me and said, your daughter was correct and I'm willing to back it up, I would not have a problem handing her the blogger's phone number and saying, why don't you go ahead and affirm the story? And I would stand 10 toes down in Emily's face.
Yeah, for sure.
I would stand 10 toes down in Emily's face and say, you may not like me for what I did, but I don't like you for what you did. So the only choice we have is we can either both look at each other and promise to never mention our children to one again and move forward, or not.
That part.
Because you literally dug up my custody battle. That you don't think that's not going to hurt my children? Like you called me, you insinuated that I gave them up in one of the lowest moments of my life, and I literally repeated that your kids talk about Heather, which I believe they probably do. But I still think that it was tacky for that girl to bring it up. Like, you did kind of violate a code where you said, this little kid said this to me. And you are like above 18, so you're like in a weird adult child position. And I will say this, I do agree with Shannon. If it were me, I have a daughter, oh, I would be clamping my hand over your mouth. Like, you would not be saying shiz on camera that I didn't approve. And you wouldn't be, no, not when it's my job.
Right.
No.
If they're saying it behind closed doors,
Sure,
then that's one thing. But to bring this out, especially having a whole plot line about children speaking on adults, it to me, again, production, everything
yeah.
in a story.
Yeah, that one hit weird from the jump. So that's where I can kind of give the points back over to Emily. Like, Katie, you shouldn't have. You need to have more control over your daughter, and if you don't have her on camera.
And it's weird because it was a whole situation of telephone where Jen said something, and then the ex nanny said something, and then Katie's daughter said something, and then the podcast was receiving, and all this stuff about some kids who said something about an adult. And yeah, I'm gonna call Katie's 19-year-old daughter a kid because that's exactly what she is and how she portrays herself. I know she's in that age like you mentioned, but she's playing kid games with the other children when it should have production should have never amplified this and played it for fodder for us to discuss, because now we have to talk about children when we're all supposed to be talking about adult content. This is adult television.
Yeah, and the thing is that the original gossip was so minor. It was the kid saying that her mom, they knew that their mom didn't like Heather. Heather was mean. And they probably did overhear Emily bitching about feeling like, maybe bitching about Heather. They probably did. But like, it's really not that big of a deal, right?
Really,
But because it was children, it's tumbled down the hill to a very delicate place that has gotten quite ugly. So yeah, it's a weird one. It's definitely a mountain out of a molehill kind of situation.
now, speaking of Mount out of a molehill, Gina and Travis, child, that
Oh,
finally together after overcoming that mountain of a molehill of an ex he got. Gina said she went to Bali and discovered she can no longer live in fear. Now, her and Travis and the kids have a very big, spacious home. I think about 28 to 2,900 square feet. And even though her kids were scared, she's taking a chance and making it work. I know that's right. Put that heifer in her place.
well, it's kind of one of those weird things. Like, do you want to lose the relationship? Because it's like, if he's a good man and you love him, you need to fight, and you need to not let that bitch la 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 win, because that's not cool. Like, it's so hard to find a good, decent man in this world, especially when you're a single mom of 3 kids. I'm a single mom of 1, and I'm not even looking out there on that sea of travesty. Like, um, and so good luck to her. I hope that that the choice, she doesn't regret that decision.
And good luck to him because it sounds like uh, his ex is keeping their son or whoever or how many kids they shared together away from him. So that's something else he has to deal with. But luckily, he has the court system to do that in because he
Yeah.
can do it on his own, and that's what the court systems are for. It's for what should be enforcing what should come natural to those who have a non-custodial mindset.
Yeah, she's caused a lot of problems for them, Gina included. I think she's even dragged Gina into court trying to get a restraining order,
I
all
mean,
kinds of stuff. Yeah.
do what y'all got to do. Been there, done that, and I did what I had to do. And and I'm a better woman for it. Sometimes you just have to use the court in a
Yep.
situation that you don't really want to, but they're necessary, especially when she's causing angst for your kids. Nah,
Yep.
now I never went through that part, but just going back and forth with a ex. Nah, I don't do ex. I don't even do my exes, let alone your exes. Girl, bye.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No. But yeah, so what am I about to say? Oh, excuse me. So then Emily comes over, visits their new 2,900 square foot home. They just happy that she got space. And Emily was like, "All right, Gina, don't break up with this man no more because he gonna leave you. You better not do it. You better not do it. You better not do it, girl. Like you said, claim your man and keep him, child.
For better or worse. I mean, if you're at that level of commitment where you're going to blend families and you're going to get kids involved in getting attached to other partners, then you're accepting the fact that part of the low with this situation is dealing with a shitty ex. If it's not that, it's going to be something else.
I just wish they would have gotten married before they moved in together. Because to me, moving in with someone is so is it becomes it can be become it can be become it can become litigious if it warrants it. And for me, I just really wish that if you're going to combine families in that way, it should be a ring, it should be a date set, and not just moving in just because y'all want to live together. It, at this point, if now sounds like they do want to get married. That's why I'm saying this. If they have no plans to marry whatsoever, then whatever, then fine. But I just think at this stage in the game, if y'all combining lives, then just do it all in one swoop.
Well, I think they bought that house together, so they better figure out something contractually. Because
Yeah,
if both their names are on the mortgage, they might as well get married.
girl.
But yeah, I mean, congrats to them for getting a bigger house that's better suited to their family.
Yeah, I hope it all works out in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
But then Emily and Gina talk more about that whole deal with Katie and the daughter and Emily's two kids and and the podcast and the nanny and so Gina invites Katie out for what do you call it, lunch or whatever, coffee, and she's gonna spring Emily on her. It wasn't that a great thing to do, Gina. Um,
Listen,
has no
that's
respect for Katie, even though Gina brought Katie into this. Now, now let's not forget that Gina was caught in a lie, but it wasn't even discussed wholeheartedly. I remember that last season when Gina
yeah,
told Katie you should talk to uh
yes,
Heather, and
Heather.
then
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I never. Yes, you did. It's on camera. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I mean, there's one thing I can't stand. It's like when Gina and Emily like get on their soapbox and they get real self-righteous. I mean, like I
All right.
said, the jury's still out on Katie. I don't believe some of her mealy mouth stuff either. I don't. But I do at the same time, if you're going to spring someone on me at a lunch that you invited me to, I will never trust you again. Like that's rat. Like you just don't want to have any kind of trust between you and I. And if you feel justified doing some shit like that, I'm never going to accept an invitation with you like without thinking about that, or I'm going to get you back and you can't say anything. It's like I don't appreciate an aggressive move on that part. Like if I were Katie, I'd be like, "Are you trying to boss up on me? Like, okay, we're not friends. Like, because you're ambushing me with something,
Yeah.
and you feel perfectly um justified in doing so because you guys have like amped it up that I'm like going after her children when you guys are all emotional about the fact that he's struggling right now. One of her children is struggling when you're completely denying the fact that you attacked me at the reunion. And yeah. So I can understand why Katie thought she'd get an apology too, but I just think Katie's not built for like the level of confrontation required for this show.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't do well in these situations.
Yeah, she's always defending herself and trying to uh, get the op to see they're wrong in all of this, because she's not always wrong by herself. She's usually, well, she has been responding, because it wasn't only Katie who thought that Heather was faking the photos, but Katie got the brunt of it, right? So just like with this situation, it's like we all know, Emily brought it up regarding kids talking about children, but then once we start talking about Emily's, and this was before knowing all of what we know now, it was it was an issue, and sometimes I think Emily feeds off of Gina and gets that negative connotation. But then I see Gina feeding off of Emily. So I think they have that in common, where they can be real nice, nasty, but,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, try and make each other make sense, so that when they present it to whomever, it's more of a better package when you're just kind of full of shit.
Yeah, they are the Bobbsey twins like that, huh? They defend one another, so they kind of feed each other bullshit. They can buy each other's, what they're selling. They hype each other up, they protect each other. Yes, I think so.
Well, then,
Because
uh-huh.
I'm just saying, because I would have looked at Gina and said, and Emily both, and said, I can have a lunch with, informed that both, I will have a lunch with who I choose. I will give consent. What you won't do is ambush the two of you to come at me when I can decide whether or not I'm willing to meet with both of you or one of you each at a time or whatever.
Yeah, she could have just called her when Emily showed up and like, hey, we both want to meet with you if that's okay, yada yada, so that she's prepared, because it's really an unfair advantage to just bring Emily along, knowing that there's tension and things, and expect, it's like at work. If we're having a meeting about apples, and then during the meeting you present on the agenda that we're talking about apples, pears, and peaches. Well, I wasn't prepared to talk about pears and peaches. I was only prepared to talk about apples. So we're going to table the pears and peaches.
Yeah,
But
especially because they feel like justified to ambush her. And it's like, I would stand by, you are not justified to ambush me. No.
and that's where I want Katie to stand up to these heifers.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to take it as far as much as she has. I really wished at that moment during that scene that they were having that donut and coffee situation, that Katie would have said that or something to that effect. I didn't know that you were coming, so maybe we can talk later, or something to where she's standing up for herself, because I don't want to see her keep acting like a punching bag for the sake of being a cast member.
Emily is very emotionally dysregulated. She gets aggressive when she's upset and yells, right? It's very obvious. She gets real kind of hulky, in my opinion. I can understand that, especially Katie talking about coming from an abusive relationship, how that level of energy makes her shrink. I can respect that. I still don't think you're a good fit for a reality show if that's your trauma response, because that's the nature of this show. And I genuinely would have, and you need to stick to what you know. I would have looked Emily in the face and said, and probably even yelled back, because I can get emotionally dysregulated too, but I would have been like, you sat there and you literally pulled up my custody case and you insinuated that because you have some legal knowledge that you could like logically deduce that I was a bad mother, and then you expect me to do you any favors when I'm dealing with somebody who wants to back up my own daughter's story about what we experienced when you're calling her a liar. Why would I do you the courtesy of protecting you in any way, shape, or form when you took one of the most vulnerable moments of my life and tried to make me look bad, knowing that you don't even know the details?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't acknowledge that we need to start from total square one and mutually have damaged one another in personal ways, I don't give a crap. We can just be awkward at the group table. I think Katie feels vulnerable being a second season housewife, not having a very solid first season. I think she doesn't feel close enough to enough people in the group to be really secure. And so we're seeing her kind of struggle. But I would have, like, that's the thing about Emily and Gina. If I feel like I have a leg to stand on, no, you're not going to bully me down. I'm not. Mm-mm.
It made me think about a situation long ago where there was a work situation where there were several people, now I do mean several, who literally sat on the opposite side of the table and tried to not ambush, but speak to me all at once.
Yeah.
Said, I put my hand up and said, hold on, I only one person to talk to me at one time.
Mm-hmm.
That's something similar to what Katie should have done as far as, her playing ping pong with these two when they're both coming at her. And like you said, Emily going through some family dysfunction with her kids. And it's so, like she said, it's so much more important than having to deal with Katie at the moment, but she knows she has to. And possibly projecting some of that anxiety onto the situation with Katie. I, I, because I'm pretty sure somewhere along this season, Emily's going to apologize for going off on Katie due to the fact that she's having some issues in her family.
I don't know. It looks like from the trailer that Katie is going to keep on falling down this rabbit hole of issues. But I would have stood my ground when it came to that with Emily. Although I think at the end of the scene, didn't they get to the point where Emily's like, okay, I'm willing to start fresh with you, but I don't trust you at all? Is that
Um, Emily was just shaking her head like, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. I think that's more or less Gina. Emily was just like, okay, well,
all right? Well, yeah. I mean, like I would have stood 10 toes down. I would have looked at Emily and I would have been like, you and I can start fresh. That's what we can do, because we pulled some dirty punches. And I'm so sorry that your child is going through something right now and that it's making the situation seem that much more intense. I will take extra care to make sure that no one on my camp says a word about your children, you
hopefully.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And you, but I'd look at her and be like, all bets are off. If you bring up any of my stuff again, you're breaking the agreement.
And let's all hope Emily and her family fares well with everything they're going through with their children. They're some sweet little boys. It's funny how
Yeah,
they look just like Shane. Oh my! I've
they
never really paid
do.
them that much attention.
Well, yeah, because they're not, usually the kids are not the main focus. I think that I think that good luck to them. I know that this is really hard and tough, but like, he was talking to them about he's kind of able to articulate and talk about how he's feeling. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the thing that, and I say this with all due respect, because as parents, when our children are struggling with anything, it's I totally can relate. Of heartbreaking, it's hard, but to his credit, this really does feel like, although it's very challenging, that he's high. I don't want to say high functioning enough, but like he's still got plenty going for him. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, I noticed that. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like he's very high. Like, I hate that word. I feel like it's a buzzword now, but like he's very high functional, smart little boy, that once they get him some help with some of his sensory, once they get better informed, that they can really help him through this, and he can continue to lead a productive, fruitful, full life like he's been.
For sure. And big ups to all of them. I wonder if the little girl's still modeling. What was
I
her
don't
name?
know.
Adeline? No, that's Shannon's daughter. Something, whatever her name is,
I
child.
know, I forgot. When you said it, I was like, oh crap, I don't remember. Yeah.
But big ups to them, and we're gonna wish them the best. Next, Shannon's daughter is in London, schooling, wants to stay, connecting with Max Dubrow, Heather and Terry's child. Now, is she gay or trans? Or they got a few mixture of, and
One of them
one
is one is oh crap.
because
Okay.
Ace is non-binary.
Ace is non-binary or transmasculine. That's the youngest one.
And
And
now
then
the
Cat,
eldest one, he's just regular type. He don't have a letter.
he's
But
straight. He's straight cisgender. Yes.
now Max is his twin sister, right?
I think she's gay or bisexual. I think Cat, the middle one, might
Queer,
be bisexual.
queer.
Yes. I I think she's identifies as a lesbian, but I'm not
Me
100% sure.
too. I think she is gay.
Well, she's a letter folk. She is. No, that I know. Exactly how she identifies. I think 3 out of the 4 kids are letter folk.
And the other daughter,
Middle daughter, Kat, she's the one after the twins.
yeah,
I think she identifies as bisexual. But these things change. Teenagers change their mind, their plate, whatever. You just let me know where you're at and I'll
right,
respect it. Wherever you're at, you let me
right.
know and I'll respect it. You
There you
change
go.
your mind. I don't judge how many times you want to flip flop. You want to explore everything under the sun. It's no skin off my nose to respect whatever your pronoun is and however many times you want to change it.
And respect yourself in this process.
Yeah.
Don't get there willy nilly and just respect yourself. Follow all precautions and take in protections while y'all doing this. Because if you're
Yeah.
willy nilly and just letting it all hang out, no, just protect
Oh
yourself.
my Lord. Yeah. If my daughter said she was going to a rave in Amsterdam, I would be clutching my pearl. Oh Lord, but they're out living life.
But that was cool how they're out there hanging out. Shannon's daughter, Laura, what's her name? Not Adeline, the other one, child, the one that's out there. They're hanging out, her and Max. So
Yes.
how cute. I'm
Yeah,
glad
that is cute. Yeah, that
uh,
is cute. And
hanging.
I'm sure that the Dubrow children are very well traveled. So if you're gonna go with someone that knows what they're doing, yeah.
And Shannon was like, "If you take drugs, what? I'll die."
I'm with it. Nope,
that
I'm
sounds
with.
like something I may have said that. I ain't even gonna lie.
I've already said it. You don't know what will be in there, and fentanyl kills.
Girl.
That's what I've been saying.
I think when mine became of age, it was that Taka, whatever that was, that synthetic weed that was going around, and it was mostly kids,
Mm-hmm.
and twerking and all, not twerking, tweaking and just flying out the handle and then fentanyl came, like, oh my God, what's next, Lord? But yeah, whatever that was, child, I was like, oh my goodness. Whew. It's hard to be a kid these days.
Yep.
Next, we see Tamara. She is in therapy. She's embarrassed about it because her therapy is getting her together. She is gathering her thoughts and realizing some things, but she doesn't want to talk about them, especially on camera. But that's what she signed up for. Um, you know, That's what you signed up for. But at the same time, I never approved of anyone's psychotherapy becoming being on talk about it fine, but not filming it.
It gets real performative. I mean, I feel like if you have a therapist that's willing to do that on camera, it's fake as hell. It's, you know what I mean? Like everybody's it's performative to me. But I feel like that's Tamra to a T. She's just performative, period. Tamra's been doing this a long time. She wants to be on the show. She loves doing two T's in a pod with Teddy, but she likes being also on the show. They're making their money, all of this stuff. I don't know what I do believe that Tamra is genuinely rocked by Teddy's illness this season, and I will give her that, but that's about all I'll give her, because otherwise Tamra is fake as hell to me and I'm getting tired of it. And she's embarrassed that she said she might be autistic and everybody got really mad. So, you know, that's what she's embarrassed about, which, you know, after you're such a dill hole on TV, like you might want to make sure you know what you're talking about before you try to like come out with reasons of why, because it just looks bad that you're like saying I might be on the spectrum. That's why I was a major a-hole to somebody that I used to be friends with, kicking them while they're down.
I was over here, eyes closed, shaking my head, like I just can't believe this woman. You know, at some point you have to accept that you are an asshole.
Yeah.
And it is, and you have to recognize and realize and repent for you causing other people anxiety because you don't know how to control yourself.
All she needed to do is say, I went too hard. That's it. Like, you could even be like, you know, like, just admit that you really went too far. And she, I think, said on Watch What Happens Live that she should have said Shannon had a drinking problem instead of calling her an alcoholic. And I'm like, there's a lot of things you said about her that you really should have walked back. I just think less of you because for me personally, if somebody is at one of the lowest moments of their life, unless I want them to be a sworn enemy from here on out, I'm not going to spit on them while they're down. And I would like to think that I wouldn't even spit on them while they're down because I'm a compassionate, empathetic person, right? And I just don't really want to be like that to anyone who's that in that fragile of a spot, right? I just wish she could say that I was like you said, I was the a-hole and walk back the level to which you felt so entitled to shit all over your friend who was going through it.
Because in anger, you hurt people.
Oh, yeah.
So if you are autistic, that means in every aspect of your life, you are that way. So stop insulting people on the spectrum. And other folks is doing that too. I forgot, I saw something somewhere on the timeline of somebody saying something similar to
that. Amanda Seales started a trend.
You know, these people are using the spectrum as a scapegoat instead of just owning up to it, owning it like Lisa Rinna has said in the past. Mm-hmm. Shout out to her, and just do better.
Yeah, 100. You don't stop justifying. Just say I went too hard.
Stop using people on the spectrum. Really are on the spectrum. Stop it, because now you dang near 80, and now all of a sudden, because you can't control yourself, and all of a sudden it's an involuntary thing. No, Heifer, you are making conscious decisions in your old age.
That part, it's like, guess what? You can be on the spectrum and still apologize for saying unnecessarily hurtful things. How about that? How about that? You could just, I know, but you can have some sort of markers of social dysfunction, right? Fine. You can have a reason, but it doesn't excuse being an a-hole just because you have a reason. So why don't you just apologize for being an a-hole and then take the information or the reason and work on trying not to do it again? But Tamara's always been judgy and like crappy this way. So good luck trying to undo that. But every now and then, the fastest way to diffuse this crap is to just say, I went too hard. I'm sorry. Real
Oh,
simple.
exactly.
Real simple.
Heifer. Jen and fiance Ryan, child. He's such
Oh Lord.
So I guess because he proposed on the beach in their bikinis and everything, now he wants to get married in one. They both say the kids are for it, but kids don't know nothing. Don't worry about that. Ryan, and then Ryan and Jen just started dragging Tamara, child. Her, like, oh my God. I felt a little secondhand embarrassment, but at the same time, Tamara brought it on herself. They are going back and forth online, talking about each other. They just it became litigious at one point, but they are both, and then just dragging her to the point where it sounded like she was cheating on her husband. That Jen was saying what Tamara was saying and doing at the gym.
Well, it's interesting. I can understand.
What's his name? Eddie.
Eddie, yes. I can understand why Jen feels betrayed because she's like, you were all making comments about him and we were all flirty and whatever, but then we get on a TV show and you are using this all against me. But it's like, well, bitch, what show did you think you signed up for? Number one. And number two, he is a hot mess, showboat looking, silly little, MFer. He needs to be careful because I do not think his past is clean enough for him to be throwing rocks. The smartest thing he could do is to just say, you're not acting saved. That was a comment. That was a good shot there. You're acting like an a-hole.
Yeah, I said that. Mm-hmm.
You need to leave me alone and let me just show everybody that I'm committed to marrying this woman, right? Like, again, the ones that like to get and sling mud back, they, I always question what they're hiding because I feel like when you really, really can stand on your past, you don't feel motivated to do that kind of crap because you're not insecure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Ryan is a little bit of a bitch for kind of getting in there the way that he did, but I also can't blame Jen or him for being like, you're a jerk. You made our salacious relationship your storyline, and I don't appreciate it.
Right. While you out there talking greasy about my man wanting to get with him too. So I suggest that you yeah, but all that stuff about talking about Eddie gay and yada yada,
it's unnecessary.
It really was, because we don't play around with stuff like that. Either you is or you ain't. If you said he ain't, he ain't. Unless you got proof that he is. Otherwise, now y'all look real stupid and crazy. Trying, just stick to the facts. Just he ain't said nothing about you on purpose. He don't even want to hug you or touch you, let alone say anything about you. So y'all looking real stupid in that respect. Just keep it on Tamara, because Eddie don't see it for y'all.
Just don't fight grease with grease. That's what you need to do. Don't fight grease with grease. You have an opportunity to just show up and marry her and be that blended family that you say you want to be. But you know what? He showed his hand when he tried to monetize that stupid ass dick pic. Remember, he had those shirts and they were like posing naked on a website. That was so yucky to me. Where I was like, oh, the sleaze is real. Like your whole perspective and your approach on this stuff is just. Ugh. So I like Jen. I think she's nice. I can kind of laugh at their like cheesy relationship. They remind me of Huntington Beach people very much. There's a very, they are a certain kind of WT, beach people that they give off this energy. But, I don't take them seriously yet at all.
Yeah, see, again, defend yourself, but don't start no mess that's really not there.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
again, y'all have every right to you know to retort. Just
And you're really, I'm still looking at you side eye just because you didn't get like, charged with anything. One of your best friends is involved in that level of money laundering. Like, yo, the company you keep's a little questionable, sleaze. Like, just calm
yeah,
down.
I was gonna say, yeah, it was looking a little
Yeah.
shady, tree-ish when they were divulging all the. Even Katie's husband didn't want to be seen with you, and he has a lot to lose. So that's
Yeah, I'm just
something,
saying.
I don't want to be seen with that dude. No,
The
I'm gonna
smell
be.
of garbage lingers, fool. I'm just saying.
He was like, I ain't going over there.
Yeah, the kind of company you keep. Well, because, like if you're friends with someone that's going to jail for money laundering at that level, like, you know,
And ain't that weird how Katie and Jen became kind of friendly, knowing that Katie's husband don't want to have nothing to do with her man? How long do you think that's gonna last? Their friendship. You know what I'm saying?
well, that's a good question because Gina's already trying to break them up, right? Because she said that Katie called her a con art, Jen called her a con artist. Um, I think that they that's wow. I don't know what I think. I'm not sure exactly like what level of a con artist Katie is, to be honest.
You don't
So
see comic
that
artists. No, I don't see.
No, I just see someone who's very manipulative trying to play dumb. I'm sorry. I don't think you come from the journalism media world. I don't think you're friends with somebody who's like at the gossip level to even have the kind of knowledge that the DeBros called the paparazzi on themselves. Like if you are actually friends with those kind of people, you know exactly how this game is played. Don't act like you don't. Don't say that, "Oh, I'm so innocent." No, 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 no. You're way more manipulative than you're trying to let on, and I don't respect that. Um, I don't know if I don't like super conniving folks. So, and I think Jen's pretty simple as far as that goes, which is kind of why, so I don't know. I don't know. I think that they genuinely have the newbie kind of friendship together though. I do think that. But I think here's what I'm not sure because I think Shannon ends up getting really mad at Katie, and I think Jen and Shannon have become close. So it's like I think Jen might be forced to kind of choose if she's going to go with the group or with Katie.
Yeah, well, it was weird seeing in that trailer the different
Yeah.
dynamics of friendships that are, imploding within the group itself, not really knowing how that started, but just to see that clip of Gina trying to get Jen to admit that she said Katie was a con artist, and Jen was like, "No, I don't remember saying anything like that." I'm gonna need Jen to strengthen her backbone. I know I've called her a ditz in the past or just real airheadish, especially if you don't know how to balance a checkbook at the ripe old age of 47. I don't know how old she is really, but I'm gonna really need for her to relinquish the child in her because it's not cute anymore and stand up more so like she did against Tamara last season when she read Tamara for filth, child, down to the where were they? London? Yeah, when they were
Yep.
London, child, down read her to the ground, child, to where Heather had to tell her, hold on. Anyway, I really, as far as Katie and Jen have that in common. But if Jen didn't say it, it's like, no, I didn't say that. Just say it. Don't just say I don't recall saying it. Just say you never said that.
Well, here's my question. If you don't recall saying it, but like, do you feel like she could be, or you didn't even think that way? So Gina, shut your mouth. That sentiment didn't even cross my mind. Which one is it?
That's the thing. I think because in Jen's personal romantic relationships, she likes playing second or damsel in distress for her man. And it's moving into other, and just like we saw how Gina was reading her regarding that real estate debacle, Jen, to me, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be wrong about Jen in that she likes to play that role because it relinquishes her from any accountability.
I agree.
But like you said, well, which one is it? But for me, I just want Jen to say, no, I didn't say it. Stop playing riding the fence when if that's your homegirl that you've been hanging out with and whatnot, you wouldn't say anything about that woman.
Or just be like, you know what? At that time, I was a little bit like some things were presented that made me wonder. But since then, our friendship has strengthened. And I don't remember saying con artist, but I do remember being like a little bit like unsure of where we were at. But now I am, figured out. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I do.
So
but
yeah,
but Gina has a propensity to surmise something and give her perception as what really transpired.
Yes. And she's trying to weaponize the situation and being like, even your friend doesn't like you.
That part.
And if I were Jen, I would stand up and say, there in the past may have been some times where I wondered because we were still getting to know one another, but this is my friend. I'm not going to let you do that. I don't feel that way. Shut your mouth.
Let's talk about Heather, Tamara, and Emily at that dinner, child. Did you keep game on that, child? Here we go again.
Yeah.
Heather, Tamara, and Emily have dinner. And they automatically start talking about Katie. After Tamara talking about therapy is unnerving, but they all think she should be there, so they're not putting up. They just say, yeah, okay, We're just glad you're there, child, because you need to be. But they're talking about Katie questioned why Tamara blocked her, but Tamara said she caught Katie in a lie in regards to talking to bloggers and some DMing folks. She don't want to, well, we're gonna get into that later about the pulling up the DMs, but again, all these alternate routes, and they're all saying that Katie ain't being truthful.
Right. See, this is where I'm like, I don't know the jury's still out on you, Katie, because if it walks like a duck and there's a lot of different instances where you are actively engaging with the commentary side of the fence.
And now they saying Jen talking about Katie behind her back, they meaning Tamara, and then Heather says in her confession, see, I told these heifers about this girl. I ain't gonna push the issue, y'all. I told y'all she did this too many times for me. I'm done. I'm just gonna be cordial, be her co-worker, be nice. Don't expect me to invite her nowhere. Just know that I am here filming, and I will be as pleasant as possible. I ain't gonna kick up no dust with this woman, but I told y'all this help like crazy.
It's true, but that is the position. I'll give Heather that. That's the position she took. She straight up told Katie at the reunion, I don't trust you anymore because of the shit you pulled. I don't. And she's kept it cute. And I'll give Heather that.
My girl. My girl.
Heather Dubrow is a lot of things, and I definitely think she cares about the camera and like perception and whatever. But like, I also think that like she operates with a certain level of integrity because she doesn't want to get caught on camera looking like she's violated her integrity. You know what I mean? I think she keeps a certain level that way.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm glad to see Heather and Emily laughing about things that really had them at a point of contention last season.
That was dumb. I was dumb.
What they call it, mature enough to laugh at it now. To me, I think Emily had a little insecurity issue when she was first debuting her weight loss and how it was making her feel. I really don't think Heather was throwing her size in her face. I really
No,
don't.
that to me was a reach. That storyline dynamic was a reach. And Emily picking on Heather about it was a reach. I just and so yeah. I have struggled with that one the whole time.
But the other stuff, yeah, okay. You may not like somebody. You may think she's so pretentious that she's insulting and whatnot. Well, some people are, but she's not. Meaning Heather is not malicious with it. Like some people just say things because of how they are, how they were raised, but they're not being malicious. It just may come out because of the drastic difference or the vast difference in how you guys came up in life. So you see it one way, she sees it another, and you're taking offense by it. I think that may have been it also with Heather and Emily, their financial differences coming up in life, and perhaps Heather hitting the financial mark before Emily. That too may have played, a part in Emily's disgust for how Heather um, was she perceived Heather acting in a way towards her as well.
I think Heather triggers Emily. I think Heather's very skinny and very wealthy and has a lot of things, and I think that it triggers Emily.
I want to see them have a couples date. That's what I'm waiting to see. Shane, Emily, Terry, and Heather go out together.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I at least two of those dates, and no Gina and Travis. No, no,
Yeah.
no, just them four. I think if because the guy seems very they seem similar in lots of ways. Complimentary, love their wives, dirty draws, love. You know what I'm saying? Would do anything for their wives, and great protectors and providers. They have, to me, a lot in common. I would love to see them mesh together. I hope I'm not wrong about that, but I would love to see them all four on a date. Oh Lord, I think that was the end of that tete-a-tete with him.
Mm-hmm.
Now the humdinger, they then went down to the culture. What you call it, culturally?
Cultural appropriation door.
It's called the Golden Door, somewhere down to the Orange County.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I've heard of it. I have heard of it. It is famous enough that I've heard of it. I've just never been.
So it's $13K a week to stay there. All of the big names, Oprah and Diane and Carol and whoever else been down there, Shannon. So she brought the ladies down there to experience some much needed healing and self reassurance and just overall mentally together, in hopes that everyone there would, that's this age old thing where they trying to get people to like each other again, pretty much, and respect each other and themselves, I guess. That ain't
Yeah. They love to exploit a spiritual situation.
girl. And once Tamara got there, she started, getting very emotional because Ted at the time, y'all, we all know who Teddy is. If you're in the housewife, you know Teddy.
Teddy Mellencamp.
She was in the midst of going through brain cancer treatment.
I think they had just found all the tumors and
Yeah.
she had them removed, and yeah, this was like the roughest part of her journey thus far. And I would say I mean, I don't want to speak for Teddy, but Teddy's had successful immunotherapy. Her tumors are shrinking. she's still in the fight, but she's much further along in winning the battle than she was at this point.
Yeah, because I think the other day I saw her. She has a new man in her life. I'm like, well, damn, she just had.
They just broke up. I saw the news. They
Damn it,
dated.
broke up. So apparently she, I'm minimizing her cancer, battle. I'm just saying, damn.
No, she's out there living life. Yeah, no, she dated a producer for like a month, and she said she's just nowhere. She said things were trying to get serious through no fault of his own. She's just not ready for that. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm amazed that you felt well enough to date mid brain cancer treatment, but you do you. Yeah,
Girl.
no, she's reported on. I've kind of paid attention just because shout out to Alexander Rogers, but like I've always thought it would be a horrible, funny joke gone wrong if something bad happens to Teddy after his fetch happened, viral moment at BravoCon. And she has stated that the immunotherapy that she has been undergoing has successfully been shrinking her brain tumors. So it's absolutely working. She's, like, let's just continue the prayers that she just keeps getting better. So yeah, she's definitely in a much better place than she was at this time.
Big ups to Teddy Mellencamp.
Mm-hmm.
We all heard other stories too, but it is what it is, child.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but yeah, big ups to her, and that's something Tamara, and she kept being reminded of her throughout the time Tamara was there. I'm like, oh, Tamara, you're gonna be okay. But they're shifting out into groups. One of the groups is a Tai Chi. The other is some drumming to, for spirituality and I just can't help to just think more and more about this inappropriate culture that they inappropriate culture.
Cultural appropriation.
I was in my mind is culture vulture, but I'm trying to
Well,
say
it's the same thing. It's the same. You're just using another term. Yeah, I just remember watching this at one point, going, they just ripped off Asian culture, and this is like the Disneyland of spas. There's like not. This is okay. Not. You just borrowed all this stuff to do. Okay.
So they're taking two customs from an Asian culture to help these ladies with whatever healing they need. One with the drumming and the other with Tai Chi. And yeah, it's just a lot that they're a lot of I mean, even within all of this, they're still in the midst of their racing thoughts. They're making comments about things that they should be more so concentrating on why they're doing these customs so that they can, the whole point is to let all that go. But they seem that they cannot because they keep bringing it up during these two events that they're participating in.
Yeah, they do.
I need to, I know it's a lot, but I can understand that because sometimes when I'm doing something important, something else comes to like, dang, so it happens, but you just really have to try and concentrate on the moment, They are a hoot. Then they get to talking, child. They're all done. They're all rapping together, coming back together. Now with more bullshit down to the Golden Corral. What's Golden Door?
Yeah.
Should have been called Golden Corral because they all pretty much acting like animals down to this conversation. And of course, they bring up again Katie. Katie is the point of contention for Emily, Tamara, not really Heather. She was done last season. Gina, almost Jen, and about to be Shannon. That's pretty much everybody.
Yeah, I mean they're setting it up to be the big storyline so far.
So when
And
Greg,
of course,
we're gonna see if that's gonna be another.
right, yeah. Well, and of course, conveniently, Katie had no service. So I did think Gina was an a-hole for being like, you could prove it. And if she doesn't have service, like
Right.
what your weapon, like, I get it. I agree. If it were me, I'd be like walking to the main building, being like, I need service. Because in this moment, if I knew I were innocent, but then again, it's also too like, I don't know, whatever. Uh, it feels a bit manufactured at this point to be like so sure you have a smoking gun. Oh, you can't bring it up. Like, get like I need more here before this is gonna stick.
Right. So apparently the DMs would prove who contacted who first, according to Katie, and
Yeah.
what said, which would clear up all of the speculation and allegations from the nanny, from the podcaster, so that they can know it, or get a podcaster and a nanny. So because Tamara and Katie apparently had some type of lunch or dinner where Tamara played what the podcaster said about Katie, and the podcaster said, well, Katie contacted me, such and such. Katie's like, no, she contacted me. But then in the midst of all this explanation down to the Golden Corral, Katie said that she was contacted first. So that means she responded. And that's another thing they were saying, well, why are you responding?
That's exactly my point too. Like, I don't care if you thought they were your friends. I don't care if they responded to you first. You're interacting with them and you're giving them information. So stand on your business. And I'm sorry, I do not believe you're not well aware of what you're playing with. Even if you are not well versed in reality television, you come from the journalism area, and I don't care if you were doing golf. Everyone knows the press is like, you're not naive enough to try and claim complete ignorance here. You are engaging with the pop, especially because your storyline when you came on this dang show last season was that you're friends with someone who's a gossip editor. So like, if these are your friends, you know that talking with him about this stuff will play out. You can't claim ignorance no matter what. And that's what she needs to do a better job with. Because that's what rubs me the wrong way, is this whole naive shit. I don't buy it.
Now, isn't it surprising? First, Kyle didn't want to show her text messages from PK.
Right.
Now, can't even pull up a DM. You know what? Listen, I'm not an Instagram aficionado, but what's already there? Do you need cell service for that? I thought you need maybe to perform the actual message, but what's already in your messages?
I don't know because I know if you have no service, you like can't refresh your feed. So maybe you can't pull stuff up. But to me, it wouldn't matter either way. I would be asking Katie, why are you engaging with them though? Like, you're talking about us to the press. Why? Like, I know why she did it with Emily to support her daughter being telling the truth. But otherwise, you're playing with fire. And we all know that there's a housewife that, like, talks to the press, like does that. Look, Lisa Rinna got it last, seasons past. Like, I just don't, I don't buy her answer. So I just think she needs to do a better job defending the fact that she's now been called out for engaging with the commentary side of like reality TV, like on numerous occasions.
Didn't she watch Salt Lake City 2 seasons ago? Girl.
I mean, so hello.
These heifers ain't trying to get mixed in with nobody mess. They got enough mess. And believe me, OC has enough true mess of their own where nothing needs to be manufactured.
Well, and listen, I know they all do it, but you're new. You might want to sit down and calm down. Like,
girl,
you're not gonna last if you come in this hot first and second season, like trying to like control your narrative without being able to stand up for yourself.
and had the audacity to invite everybody to an
To
event of their
lunch.
own.
Yeah.
So that now was that also custom her culture? She called it hot
Hot
hot.
pot. Hot pot.
Is that
I
culture?
believe she's Korean. So yes, hot pot is a Korean dish. So yeah. Um,
Girl, be careful. Don't be weaponizing y'all's culture now for sympathy. Now, come on. You see, Dana, everybody here don't like you. Just say, I would like for everyone to come, but understand that you may not, want to. The invitations for everybody. It was in a way, it was bad timing because maybe she should have waited till she got cell service and just screenshot it the doggone DM so that they can know. And once people are like, oh, okay, cool, but at the same time, it is a little sensitive because you're still engaging, and you did want to somewhat hurt Emily because you admitted that you were upset, so you did engage because of that reason. But she still got to. I guess she still has to invite them anyway, child. I guess.
yeah, this is where it's a delicate balance with this show because you want people to be genuine, but then you also want to somehow buy into the fact that they all want to hang out together. So you have to have some kind of reconciliation, but if it's too forced, it doesn't work. So we'll see.
And then Emily was like, listen, Heifer, the reason why I'm so doggone upset is because I have to hire an attorney for this doggone nanny because of you.
No, she doesn't. She has to hire it because the nanny ran her mouth. The
Yeah,
nanny,
she's blaming Katie for getting
yeah.
the nanny all mixed in this.
And
That's
that's to me,
Emily's issue.
yeah, but it's like, you know what? She is the one that ran her mouth on the blog. And so it's like, and so you need to be mad at the nanny. Like, you know, I
True.
mean, I do understand why Emily's like, I don't appreciate the fact that you like helped steer this girl this way to publicly defame me. So I can understand why Emily doesn't like her. I can give her that. I can understand why Emily's looking at Katie like, you perpetuated this, but I also am like, Emily, you don't seem to want to take enough responsibility for the fact that you started a war at the reunion by bringing up some really sensitive stuff. And the way that you couched it was really sucky. Because
Yeah.
you act like, because of your legal expertise, you understood the way that this looked and that she abandoned her kids. And I just don't think it played out that way. And I think you're evil for trying to paint it that way with some kind of legal expertise you don't really have.
Shame on you, Emily.
Yes. But I can also see why you're looking at her sideways because this whole situation spiraled, and her daughter should never have replayed that story on TV anyway.
Production. It all boils
Yep.
down to production. I keep saying, y'all, if they wouldn't think everything is a storyline, any adversarial anything is a storyline, then they want to have you talk about it and let's judge, make it more out of something. Everything doesn't need to be a storyline.
You just have to be careful that you don't pursue storylines that make it so that the audience can't buy into the fact that these women would have anything to do with each other.
And involve children.
Yeah, you just take, yeah.
Don't even nah, just nah, some things need to not be aired. Just like they choose to keep stuff on the cutting room floor, just say, we're not going to talk about children. Y'all can talk about that on your own time.
Yep.
We're going to keep. Now, that's integral producing, if you ask me. But the integrity seems to be slipping out of these producers every franchise, no matter if it's Married
Amen.
To, no matter if it's Housewives of,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. They're the more grimy ones because they're recording it, producing it, and airing it.
I 100% agree. We are jumping the shark production.
Sure. Well, that was all I had on my notes. Did I miss anything? Did you have anything more?
No, ma'am. I think we thoroughly beat this first one to death.
Dead horse. Oh,
Yes. Unlike these ladies, I'm gonna let it go when I recognize that we're there.
And next episode, my girl, Gretchen.
Yeah.
Be on. If you don't, her name is Gretchen Rossi. Follow her on all platforms. Look at me promote. Follow her on all platforms. That's my girl. I hope she don't make me disappoint. But girl, yes, that
bringing back the OG house husband, Slade Smiley. Bringing back the OG character, the OG man of the franchise. We have to give him that. We have to give Slade Smiley was the first when he did his little yoga tai chi and his little frozen mask in his bedroom in his underpants. A star was born.
Girl. He's the first to do it.
He is. Dated 3 housewives.
Still lasting, y'all. He ain't those NYC cats over there ain't got nothing on Slade Smiley.
Nope, sure don't. He is the OG.
If you don't, you know.
Yes. Harry Dubin, Tom.
Girl.
Slade is the blueprint.
Ain't got nothing on Slade, baby. Nothing. Not even that one who fake cancer. Remember what's his name? Fake cancer on OC.
Oh, Brooks.
Girl.
Yep.
I wonder where he at. Who we scamming nowadays, child?
I know.
Girl. Listen, if y'all don't know OC history, go back to season 1, just catch up. Because child, they've been, girl, they have given us some good TV. No wonder they season 19.
Yep.
Y'all know what y'all missing. Ooh-wee. Well, y'all, that was it, I guess. Ain't nothing else going on.
Yep.
We done went through lunch. Now it's summertime and dinner. I'm sure folks are hungry and carrying on. So before we head up out of here, please let us know where we can find you. We ain't talking to me about Drag Race, OC, Selling Sunset. What's going on?
You can find me on Facebook, Psychic Aaron Boyd, on Instagram and Threads at psychic_ELB, Psychic Aaron. Hit me up in the DMs if you would like to get a psychic reading.
All right, y'all. Please don't forget to like and comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll catch you later. Bye, y'all.